Are you exhausted from awakening? Well, I got this question from one of my viewers, Joe, just yesterday, and he said, "Hi, Sonia, I've been watching all your videos since my awakening started last August. Since then, and over the last 3 months or so, I've been exhausted. And when I say exhausted, I mean exhausted. I've seen a few videos on awakening fatigue, but question the credibility of the authors. Is this something you experienced? And if so, could you please make a video about it?" Getting tired or feeling fatigued or even being exhausted as part of awakening is completely normal, you'll be glad to hear. It's something that I went through during my awakening, and in the many, many years since then, I've helped other people overcome this. It's very, very common. Now, the reason for this fatigue, for this tiredness, is everything in this body-mind is realigning. At the purest, deepest level, everything is just energy, right? If you even look to science to this, they will back me up on this, right? When people say, oh, this is a table or this is a screen, even matter is described by scientists. The closest they can get to it is that it's energy, right? Even a table, the molecules, if we even want to call them that, moving around, it's just energy, okay? And the body-mind is the same. So for the longest time, you've kind of been stretched out like a rubber band, right? You've been carrying tension, you've been carrying weight. And the weight that you've been carrying prior to awakening is the weight of the illusion, the weight of the lie, and the weight of the dream. And that illusion / lie / dream is that you're a separate entity, that you're just this body-mind with your name, in this case, Joe, and you've been carrying this around, you've been carrying all this pressure that you're moving around in the universe, been trying to shape it to your will, trying to get what you want out of the universe so that it can give you what you feel you need to fulfill the hole that you feel inside, and you hope that that will give you happiness. Now, of course, that is exhausting. Now, you might say, well, wait a second, you're saying that it's exhausting after awakening or during awakening. Shouldn't that be a release of that? Well, yes, it is a release, but it's also a letting go. Now, if you imagine this tense rubber band that's been stretched for your entire life, it does require a lot of energy to keep that position, right? To maintain that illusion of separation and constantly be going out and striving and trying to find happiness in the outside world through acquisition of objects, experiences, and perceptions and so on. It takes a lot of energy to do that. But when you eventually start to let go and you waken up and you start to see through the illusion and realize there is no separate you and that there is only consciousness, global consciousness, and the I that is listening to these words, I am listening, you say to yourself now, that consciousness is the same consciousness that is speaking to you right now. It's a global consciousness. And that is the ultimate reality. And you can quantify this for yourself very simply, because no object, no physical thing, and no thought and no sensation can exist outside of that consciousness. And to be even more accurate, everything is made from and comes from that consciousness. And that's really what awakening is. Somebody else commented on one of my videos just yesterday saying, oh, I awoken, I went through an awakening in 2020 and saw through the whole pandemic. I'm like, well, no, that's a type of awakening, I guess. But what we're talking about here is spiritual awakening, which very simply means you've seen through the illusion of being a separate self and you realize there is only one reality and you are that. So prior to that, we have this rubber band stretched out, tense, requires a lot of energy to maintain that. You're carrying it around all the time. And when you finally start to see through this and you have glimpses of, actually, I'm not my thoughts. I can observe my thoughts. Therefore, if I'm not my thoughts, then what am I? And it starts to loosen. Okay, this band starts to loosen. Now, in this analogy, as this rubber band starts to loosen, it actually emits energy, right? You know this. If you take a rubber band, as you used to do, I'm sure you used to do as a kid, like I did, and you would fire a rubber band, you tense it and you let go, pew! It pings across the classroom, hopefully hits your friend's back of your friend's head and not the teacher's head, right? It pings off because it takes energy to maintain it, energy in your muscles. But when you release it, the rubber band, the energy, that potential energy is released. This is what is happening during awakening. This energy is being used up. It's coming out in various ways. Now, it can come out in a feeling of excitement, butterflies, stomach churning, faster heartbeat, a twitch in your eye, lack of sleep, problems digesting things, stomach issues, back problems, headaches, visions or slightly changed vision. It can come out in any number of ways. And that's why when you see these videos that talk about the symptoms of spiritual awakening, you pretty much put anything in there. It doesn't mean if you have those symptoms, you are going through an awakening, and only you can know what you've seen. You can't unsee what you've seen. If you've had a seeing or an experience where you've tasted this truth, you've tasted oneness, you've tasted this global consciousness, you've seen there's more to this than the separate self, not intellectually, but at a deeper level, nobody can take that away from you. And it may lead to any number of physical symptoms, including this kind of tiredness or fatigue. If you imagine, to use another metaphor, if you've been walking for hundreds of miles your entire life with huge suitcases, right, and your life depended on these suitcases, if the suitcases touch the ground, they explode. They've got TNT in. And if they touch the ground on this walk throughout your life, they will explode and they will kill you. Okay, so you carry these suitcases. Now, in this metaphor, you're going to do whatever it takes not to put those suitcases down. So it kind of doesn't feel like an effort because it's life or death. Like if you put them down, you're going to die. So of course you're going to carry them. So over time, as you keep carrying these suitcases that you feel are going to kill you if you put them down, it's a very low perceived effort. It is actually a lot of effort in reality, but the perceived effort is low because the trade-off or the perceived trade-off is, well, this is my life. Of course I'm going to carry these things. But what you're carrying there is an illusion. The TNT is an illusion. The fact that you would die when the suitcases are put down is an illusion. That's the whole illusion of being a separate self, that if I carry these things around, I'll get what I want, I'll be happy. Doesn't work, does it? You know, the recipes that we've been given by our parents, by society to attain happiness, go out there, get married, get a great job, get good pay, get a good house, doesn't work, right? That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this. So carrying those suitcases around is the illusion. That's when you're asleep prior to awakening. It takes a lot of energy to carry those. But when you finally see through the illusion, or you have a glimpse and you start to realize, I don't need this. I don't need to go out seeking stuff. I am already this consciousness. I am innately happy. I don't need objects to make me happy. I don't need these suitcases. You put them down. They don't explode because obviously they were, the TNT or the dynamite was an illusion. You put them down, but guess what? If you've been carrying them your whole life, you now feel tired. You feel exhausted because you've been carrying this stuff your whole life. So it's not uncommon during or after an awakening to completely be wiped out and feel useless and unable to move. I mean, this was the situation I went through. For a period of months, I was unable to operate in the world. Pretty much staying at home, minimal conversations, unable to work, physically kind of broken. Just no engine, no direction, no clear focus, no guiding light, no appetite. To all intents and purposes, just a limp body-mind, okay? Wiped out from the 40 years or 30 plus years of carrying these suitcases, these heavy suitcases of beliefs. But when you put those down and you get rid of those beliefs and you realize you don't need to defend your ego, you don't need an identity to carry around, because that in itself takes a lot of energy, permanently trying to sustain this sense of a separate self. I am this person, I am this name, this is my story, I carry it around, I talk to myself in this way, this is how I react, this is what I bring with me, and I am, male, I am this age, I'm from this country and this place in the world, and that's how I operate, and these are all my belief systems. Overnight, when you put all of those suitcases down, of course you're going to be exhausted. You've been carrying this crap your entire life, but you don't need any of it. So eventually you do come out of this, right? I've got to tell you the good news here. You do come out of this, but there can be a time, maybe days, weeks, months, where you feel completely wiped out, completely exhausted from all of this. And not just what you've gone through up until awakening, but also the awakening process itself can be very disorientating, very isolating, and also very debilitating to the body-mind, because it's recalibrating. It's like, wait, you told me I had to do all this and defend the ego and have an identity and have all these belief systems, and if I go out to the world and get this, and this, I'll be happy. So I've been busy doing all that, and now you're saying I don't have to do all of that? And it's trying to process it, right? The mind is trying to deal with this realization. But you'll know, if you've had it, the realization is not in the mind. Because some people intellectually understand this idea of a global consciousness, that they're not a separate self. They intellectually get it, but they don't get happiness. They don't put down the suitcases. They don't fully understand, because the understanding is at a deeper level. It's at a body, mind level. It's even deeper than that. It's at a reality level. Reality understanding its own reality. And that takes time. And initially, the mind will try and compute all this stuff. Oh, because it's used to doing it, right? What's 2 + 2? It's 4. The mind loves doing all these fun games and puzzles. So when you give it the puzzle of awakening, and you say, well, actually, I'm not separate. There's only this one reality. There's not two, only one. It's only global consciousness, and you are that. The mind is like, right, let me take this. Okay, this is a great one. This is a meaty one to get my head into. So what you're saying is blah, blah, blah. And the mind, this is like, perfect fodder for the mind, and it will turn endlessly. And this is what can lead to, lack of sleep, feeling like you're completely losing it, like you're going insane. These are all symptoms of awakening. But eventually, when you just relax into it, you allow everything to be as it is. There's no doer anyway. You're not doing any of this stuff. You don't have a choice. Reality has chosen to wake up to itself through the so-called separate you. So there's nothing you can do to speed it up. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's happening. And eventually that energy will be dissipated. There'll be an acceptance, and you just allow everything to be as it is. And after that, you come out the other side, your energy is renewed. The mind will never be able to fully comprehend what's gone on, but it goes into the background. You observe it. It's there. It continues to do its crazy fun stuff. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the deeper peace underneath. So I hope this helps you. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon.